AMD stock is one of the most innovative companies over the last few years in the semiconductor space, powering data centers, GPUs, CPUs, and definitely getting into the cloud space in 2024. Now, they have sold off tremendously over the past few months, and they had a high of $227 and still continued to sell off despite increasing their revenue and increasing their earnings. Another thing to note is that they gained about 7% of the market share in the gaming. So that could be a result of not only introducing their new GPUs, but Nvidia kind of winding down some of their gaming sector. So they gained 7% of the market share. The other piece that people don't realize about AMD is that they surpassed Intel in data center sales for the first time in history. That was in 2024, quarter four. So in this last quarter, they surpassed Intel. So when it comes to their revenue, they're up 24% year over year. There's a lot of reasons to be looking at the company. We also see this trend here with AMD stock from July until today. There was a more bullish trend that a lot of us were hoping would hold, which was this level right here. And it never held. They continued to beat earnings, but they still have been selling off, and now they're down to $100 a share. Now, when it comes to AMD's market, they're in the growing GPU market. They have increased revenue in their data centers and in their GPUs. And they're one of the competitors with NVIDIA. As you can see on the technical side of things, there's a few reasons why it could make sense to have some more attention on AMD. There's a really strong resistance right here at about $100 or $97, where it's bounced. You can see this was a resistance, then acted as a support right here, and a resistance here, and this is where it is right now. So the overall trend is indicating this is where, if it's going to continue some of this direction, it would bounce. The support and resistance here, this level, is indicating this is where we could see it bounce. And we've seen a little bit of a consolidation over the past, few days. Let's see, since since February 27th, it's consolidated from left to right here in this area. And now it's maybe going to break up above this 200-day moving average. Now, one thing to consider, there's no indication that it is reversing just yet. In fact, it looks more like just a continued downtrend, as you can see here, than anything else when you're on the near term. It's that longer term view, the horizon that we're looking at of this continuation that could potentially play a role in AMD's reversal. Now, this is also the trend that we're seeing, and we're saying maybe this trend has been going long enough, and we could potentially see it, continue this direction upwards. So that would look something like this. A bounce here would indicate somewhere in this range, first of all, this resistance, which would be about 20%. If we see it get into the levels that we saw back in 2021 or 2024, those levels would be up here in this $160 range, which would be about a 70% increase. So there's three things we look at in analysis. We look at the technicals, we like to look at the fundamentals, as well as the financials. And if we look at AMD stock, and you take a look at the financials, their market cap's at 160 billion. They have this revenue increase of 24% year over year. If you go into the last few quarters of 2024, you can see net income 123 million profit, then 265 million, then you saw 700 million. So they went from 120 million in beginning of 2024 to 700 million in profit net income. And then December 2024, that number dropped a little bit down to 482 million. So their revenue was at 7.6 billion. They're obviously having some operating costs, and you can see their net income still just $500 million. But the company is definitely beating their earnings per share, beating their revenue, which would indicate some of what we would expect. There's a lot of different variables, but a lot of it indicates that we could see a continuation for AMD stock. Now, could it continue down? Absolutely. Would it make sense to see a bouncier recovery and maybe a continuation of this direction? That could make sense as well. Now, when it comes to AMD's news and what's been coming out with the company, we know they're building their own infrastructure, their own data centers, their own new GPUs, and they're still expanding into the markets. When it comes down to outside of just on Earth, they're also working with SpaceX. So if you guys are familiar, search AMD Starlink. AMD chips are actually powering the newest Starlink satellites, which provide internet connectivity from space. Personally, I just got Starlink this past week, and I love it. It's better than any other satellite internet. It's better than the local towers, and I'm getting tremendous speeds for both upload and download speeds, which is not really common to get good upload speeds from satellites. Part of that is their Starlink launches, have been later just in the past few years, and they've been accounting for giving users good upload speed, which allows us to stream here on YouTube and things like that. And thank you guys for all the support. We're almost at 20,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 100,000, so I appreciate it. And one of the reasons that we're looking at Starlink satellites in AMD's chip is powering the newest satellites. So if you think about it, Starlink offers the roam option, that's 50 gigabytes or unlimited data. You have streaming, video calls, online gaming. It's internet to millions of active customers, and they have over 6,700 satellites in orbit. They're the largest satellite constellation. So if you think about some of the revenues that we could see increase as a result of these AMD Versal chips, this is a partnership that just took place back in October of 2024, which would indicate that we would see maybe an increase in the revenue into Q1 of 2025. And thank you guys again. You see the 2 videos on AMD's Starlink here from our channel. I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for the support. The reality is any company that we've seen partner with Starlink has seen a dramatic increase in their share prices over the next 18 months. And so this is a partnership that just happened in the last 3-4 months with Starlink. And another company that partnered with Starlink is T-Mobile. And I have T-Mobile personally. I've been getting, I can send texts, I could roam via Starlink directly from my cell phone. So when it comes to AMD, there's the data center revenue. There's the increase in market share that they're seeing with their GPUs. And there's the consistent positive profit margins that they're bringing in. Not over $1 billion, but about $500 million to up to $1 billion. And now getting into this Starlink industry, you have another catalyst. So this is a partnership that took place back in 2021 for T-Mobile, and their stock price was around $100. And after the partnership, not saying it's entirely due to Starlink, but you can look at after the partnership that happened in 2021, it was October, they sold off for basically another 3 months after the partnership was announced. And then they rallied 130% over the next 3 years. And so we've seen this partnership take place with AMD. And a lot of people would say that's a really good reason to look at the stock is because of this Starlink partnership. And what do you know? They had the partnership announced back in October as well. So October, end of October, basically November. And with that partnership, you could look at that October, it's been selling off for the past 4 or 5 months since that announcement. And now it's looking like this is a place where we potentially would see it continue its direction upward. And there's not any better time that I would see for them to partner with Starlink than right now. So I'm quite bullish on the stock. We're going to run another sale. We've ran this before. If you guys want to watch me trade live and see us go at market open Monday through Friday through these stocks real time and trade them in the markets, for our current promotion, if you enroll in StockMate and by June 5th, this AMD stock hits $155 a share, then you get StockMate for free. So again, June 5th, $155 a share would be up here. This would be a bounce or recovery on AMD. If during our current promotion you enroll in StockMate to watch us trade live, surround yourself with other traders and investors, get a free t-shirt, and also get resources on fundamental technical analysis as well as crypto and options and stocks, you will get StockMate for free if AMD hits $155 a share by June 5th. June 5th, 155 StockMate for free. So that's our current promotion. If you want to take advantage of it, it's in that second link in the description. There are some exclusions that apply. For example, we're only running the sale right now. It's not going to apply, but this YouTube video will still be here. So make sure that you take a look on the website because there are restrictions that apply. With that being said, I would love to have you guys in our market live session tomorrow, Monday at market open at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would imagine this is a bounce we could see take place. There's going to be volatility in the markets as we've seen, but even in 2020 during COVID, when the markets crashed, you could look at it, AMD actually soared during that time. So it's possible that while the markets are down, we could still see AMD go up. The same thing is true here. Since November, most stocks were rallying up. We saw that with most tech stocks, and AMD didn't have the same rally. So it doesn't necessarily move with the rest of the market, and we'll be watching it closely to see if any opportunities present themselves tomorrow at market open. If you want to be there again, it's that second link in the description. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.